If you're like me, then you might feel seriously affected when your relationships break down. But through thousands of hours of therapy, self-reflection, and reading philosophical and spiritual texts, I have learned a wealth of knowledge about how to manage conflict in a healthy and empowering way, all while staying even amidst it all. And that is exactly what I want to share with you in today's video: how to navigate through conflict with wisdom and tact. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. First, compassion. When navigating interpersonal conflict, we must first understand that the person before us is deeply, deeply flawed, just like we are. Each of us, like iron, has been cast and molded by a variety of factors, most of which have been outside of our control, like our family, our cultural upbringing, as well as our early education. Only some of us are brave enough to become conscious to these forces, to analyze them and exercise our own volition over them. But not everybody is so, and that's okay, because some people refuse or simply do not have the capacity to engage in that kind of high-level self-reflection and awareness. That person is doing the best they can with what they know right now. And should we not strive to forgive others for their shortcomings, just as we hope they will do for us when our time comes? And for these reasons, those of us who do have the capacity to reflect and develop our faculties, those of us who are deeply concerned with being an upstanding person, should have compassion for the people before us. Choosing forgiveness is like taking a cold drink of water on a hot summer day. There's an old adage that goes, there's three truths: my truth, your truth, and the truth. And well, there's some truth to this. We must analyze conflict from every angle and as objectively as possible. Ask yourself, my truth, how did this conflict arise? With whom and over what? Did my actions or lack of actions breach a moral duty that I owed to this person? What did I learn from this experience, and what will I do differently next time? Their truth. Why did the other person react in the way that they did? What's their side of the story? Is there any truth in it that you should consider? Was their response healthy or toxic? Is this a person worth further cultivating a relationship with? Or is it best to create some distance? The truth. What is the nature of the conflict? Is it interpersonal, commercial, socio-political? Are there any neutral parties that can provide insight over the situation? In the grand scheme, how pressing is the subject matter of the conflict? How are third parties affected? And what are the stakes? You must be brutally honest with yourself when answering these questions, because the more we analyze the situation from 360 degrees, the more insight, power, and understanding we have over ourselves and the situation. Radical acceptance. Some of us want to be the director, producer, set designer, costume designer, and script writer of the show. We want to do it all because we have an ideal vision in our minds about how everything should play out. In an ideal world, of course, if only, if only. But this is madness. As the Stoics observed, we can only control ourselves, and nothing and nobody else. And that is why, if we wish to maintain our own balance and evenness, as well as our sanity, we must radically accept others for exactly who they are, because you can't change anybody unless they want to change themselves. As the Beatles once wisely sang, let it be, let it be. Don't match other people's energy. To match other people's energy means to mirror how they're treating you back to them. For example, if they're nice to you, you're nice to them. If they wish you happy birthday, you'll wish them happy birthday. There's a couple of reasons why we should avoid matching people's energy. First, we talk a lot on this channel about calibrating our moral compass and practicing moral virtues. Virtues like being kind, honest, brave, willing, organized, grateful. But how unreliable would our moral compass be if it was influenced by every external factor that touched it, such as the whims of others? but instead, when we're guided by true north, we become stable, even, and predictable in our decision making. Additionally, to match people's energy is the modern way of practicing the logical fallacy of tu quoque. Tu quoque translates from Latin to English to you too. In other words, the person who asserts a tu quoque fallacy is attempting to leverage the behavior of others as an excuse to misbehave themselves. This is a mistake in reasoning. If you're interested in learning more about logical fallacies, I made a video all about critical thinking, and you can find it here. In sum, do not reciprocate, get revenge, or turn your interpersonal relationships into transactional ones. Take the high road. Stay classy, stay grounded in your values, and become known for being consistent and predictable. The art of disarmament. Like a covered pot that's building steam, we must know when to take the lid off. In other words, when we find ourselves in ultra-tense situations, especially when emotions are running high, understand that you have several tools at your disposal. First, suggest that you should both step away, gather yourselves, and revisit the conversation when emotions have settled, maybe even prepare some talking points. Second, try introducing some tasteful humor and laughter into the situation. Laughter can ease some of the tensest moments and release some of the tightest of knots. And finally, and most importantly, remember that some of the most beautiful words in any language are to just simply say, "I'm sorry. What do you need from me? What can I do differently? Are you okay?" These phrases are simple, free, and can have the most powerful impact. Use them generously. The beauty of indignation, or righteous anger. Anger is not an emotion that we should strive to abolish from ourselves completely. Anger can be healthy because it serves as a signal that something is wrong, that we're hurt, or that there is some injustice brewing somewhere. When indignation arises, and not just petty anger, but righteous anger, we must let it have its moment. This is the time to speak unapologetically, to say what you need to say, but as controlled and reflective as possible. Holding in the truth is like holding onto a hot stone and refusing to drop it. But on the other hand, recognize when a situation is truly hopeless. And in that case, we must cut our losses and move on. And regarding hopeless situations, I always recommend praying and meditating for the healing of that situation and releasing the outcome to the forces that be. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Albert Einstein. At some point, we may find ourselves in conflict with the same person time and time again about similar things. And maybe this person, a family member perhaps, is not somebody that you can just cut off, but rather you are obliged by some moral duty to continue to interact with that person. In that situation, I would recommend you take a pen and a paper and map out the pattern of your relationship. For example, what does it look like to have peace with this person? What is the trigger into animosity? What is the progression of the conflict? What happens after? And are there any common denominators? Once you discover the pattern, see where you can infiltrate, take a sledgehammer and break it. Try several places if you must. For example, maybe after conflict, the pattern is to resort to silent treatment. But instead, doing something differently would look like speaking after the conflict, discussing it, acting normal as if nothing happened, because disagreement between adults is normal and healthy, and it shouldn't be something that we avoid at all costs. So according to Albert's formula, once we change something in the pattern, then we can start to expect different results and find the lesson in it. Every conflict that we experience is an opportunity to sharpen our interpersonal and conflict resolution skills. Staying grounded and even in the middle of conflict requires a lot of discipline, self-knowledge, and maturity. Behind every cool, calm, and collected person, if not by disposition, is somebody who put thousands of hours into their inner training. We might not get it right every time, but we sure as hell try. We strive to improve bit by bit with each opportunity, because transformation begins with incremental changes. And with that, I leave you with one of my favorite quotes of all time by Lao Tzu. If you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate the suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give to the world is your own self-transformation. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel for more philosophy. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.